Hey everyone, let me introduce you to our slogan, success is inevitable. And we back that up in spades. Very much like failure is not an option for the SEAL teams. For SEAL teams, it's a very similar slogan. Failure is not an option. So let's look at the mentality behind that slogan, and you'll see that golf is very much along the same lines. So one of the characteristics is no margin of error by design, okay? So unlike conventional forces, they can't call in reinforcements easily or hold ground or absorb losses. The missions are designed around precision, speed, and finality. We only have one chance when we're out on the golf course. So it really weighs heavily on our psyche, understanding that we only have one chance. And most golfers are approaching it by fear instead of what I'm about to tell you. So let's look at environment. Irreversible consequences. SEAL missions typically operate in environments where there is no safe fallback, there's no pause button, and no opportunity to try again. Sound familiar for golf? That leads you to extreme ownership culture. That's a major one, extreme ownership culture. So this creates relentless preparation. This is where we come into play at Wisdom in Golf. Accountability without excuses, adaptive thinking under stress. There is where the differences lie to get this. The key distinction here is failure is not an option does not mean no mistakes occur. There's going to be mistakes. Plans don't break, because they do all the time. Abort is impossible. It means adaptation replaces quitting. So we're going there no matter what, and we stay steadfast and single-minded on that so that we're not thinking about bailing or being distracted by consequences. That's the mission, and that's all there is to it. Then your mindset goes into, hey, what do I need to do to get that done? And it starts looking at all the positives that are going to allow you to make that mission possible. And it's not going to start looking for exits. This is really, really key. So in their preparation, they're going to survey that land with satellite views, right? They're going to look at, there are the buildings, there are the entrances, there are possible exits, the windows, etc. So they plan everything to a T. So when we're executing a golf shot, before we get to the execution stage, we need that planning stage to be crystal clear. So let's look at how this all starts. It needs to be crystal clear from the beginning through the setup into execution, and watch how all of this flows. So first I need a flight plan that's going to get me to that flagstick right there at 184 yards on a beautiful par 3 here at Quail Hollow. I have my intermediate point, see that? So before I peg my ball on a tee, I'm going to find a divot that I'm going to stick behind. So from down the line, I pick a divot, then I peg my ball behind that divot, and if I'm going to hit a draw, I'm getting ready to deliver right edge or right half of that divot. So we talk about how the golf swing forms a natural arc. So you see the arc of my swing. So I am matching that arc to the ball and intermediate point. The blur of that club, the arc of that club, is the barrel of your rifle. And every rifle has 2 sights on it. So I need both sights to really center my eyes on that target. And it's the same here because our vision is very much compromised in the golf swing. So I truly need these 2 sights on the barrel of my rifle, which is the blur of the club, that I'm going to deliver in that direction. So I have a flight plan. I got my intermediate point. So once I'm set up, the goal is to be able to let momentum deliver through that ball and intermediate point. So distance to ball is going to be critical. If I reach for that ball it feels like when I let it swing, it's going to compromise my balance and I won't be able to stay with my mission. So I need to have this really bolted into the ground through my quads and my glutes, through the arches of my feet, so that now when I let it swing, my balance is going to be really solid and I'm going to be able to stay with my shot. My ball position. If my ball's too far back, it feels like I'm going to have to reach back to get it to go there. And if it's too far forward, I'm going to have to reach forward to get to it. But here, it feels like momentum can deliver the shot without me having to interfere with it. Now, my grip-club relationship has to be such that when I let the momentum go there, it feels like I'm going to be trapping the ball into that direction. Okay? So imagine if I have this ball up against the arch of my foot and I want to trap that ball through the arch of my foot into the direction of the target. So notice how my hands are in front and I'm really feeling that there is no possible escape to either side for that golf ball. It's going to be compressed into that flight plan. So I have my distance to ball, I got my ball position, I've got my grip club relationship, and my posture is such that it feels like the low point is going to be right there in front of the ball when I deliver in that direction. So now my setup matches the picture. Here's what we need now to guarantee a proper golf swing. This is where so many of you are having a hard time taking your practice swing to the golf ball, okay? So when you're with the golf ball, you need to be able to engage what we call a kinetic chain. A kinetic chain is a fast twitch, reflex action based on pure self-preservation. So if I'm going to take a ball and I want to throw it over there, the first thing my brain's going to do is it's going to go to the ground, use the ground to get my body out of the way so I have access to throwing it over there. I would never throw a ball like this. So if my focus is, once I get to the ball, is I see a ball, I'm going to hit a ball, you are so screwed. What you need to see is an arc through the ball and the right edge of that intermediate point. What creates that path is the G-forces that are tracking the club around the natural center of your body. So we have a natural arc in there, and our anatomy is designed to fold out of the way of that arc, load and unload. So if I were to swing back and through without stopping here, and I'm letting that club track an arc, notice the only way my arms get to track the arc, right now it feels like nothing is happening mentally to manipulate my arms. I'm aware that gravity's tracking the arms. Then the only way that the arms are going to track is if my body glides out of the way. Because if I don't move my legs, my pelvis gets locked up, which means it's going to lock up my rib cage because my spine comes up from the pelvis to the back of my head. And these facet joints that are on my spinal cord, around my spinal cord, are like locking mechanisms that basically force the pelvis and rib cage to move together. So if I lock up my legs, all I'm going to do is hit myself twice, and I'm going to be losing a ton of power, a ton of accuracy, and it's just not going to be very fun. So I'm allowing my arms to swing, my body's gliding out of the way. So when I'm ready to go, I have to be in that mode. I'm already feeling the weight of my arm club unit tracking that arc. I'm already feeling my body gliding out of the way of that tracking arc. So now I'm letting it go. So now the ball starts off to the right, draws back to the center of the green. We got a nice golf shot just left of the flag on that green. So Flight plan, intermediate point, setup matches that picture. Yes on the ball position, yes on the distance to the ball, yes on the grip club relationship, yes on posture. What's it going to feel like when I let momentum track that arc in that direction? Yes, I'm going that way. Yes, I'm going that way. There it is again. Right over that flag stick. So you see how there's no other option. There's a ball, an intermediate point. There's a blur moving in that direction. There is no be careful, make sure that that elbow finds this position. That would be a major distraction. It would distract me from going that way. We're staying steadfast in the direction that we want to go through that ball and intermediate point. No distractions. And we're very, very clear on what we're trying to do. So from face on, if you look at ball and intermediate point, you can see there's my ball position. Got to go get it, no good. Got to reach back, no good. That's good. No good. No good. That's good. Grip club relationship. That, when I swing that way, is going to escape to the right. No good. That is going to escape to the left and hook. No good. But this feels like when I let momentum deliver, I feel like I'm trapping the ball right edge of that intermediate point. It feels like momentum naturally wants to trap that ball in that direction. So if you look at, there we go, ball and low point right here. When I let momentum go, feels like I'm going to catch the ball first, then the ground. And finally, depending on the height that I want to hit this on, so if I'm trying to hit this into the wind, I'm going to play that ball a little further back, close the face a bit more, and trap that ball lower into that direction. So now it feels like, yes, the low point is still there, but the angle of attack that I'm using to go through that low point is steeper. And if I want to hit that high draw, now I'm going to play the ball closer to center. Now it feels like I can stay in that direction. The low point is still there, but it feels like the ball flight is going to be a lot higher. So let's look at a low stinger versus a really high trajectory shot coming in. So got my flight plan, got my intermediate point. I'm going to have the same distance between myself and the ball, but I'm playing the ball a little further back. My angle of attack now is going to be a little steeper, so I need to close the face a little bit more because the ball's further back. And now I'm seeing that blur, I'm seeing the low point of the blur, and I'm seeing the angle of attack through that blur, and I feel like it matches the height of the trees. So now I'm going to let momentum track that arc. And there it is. Now I've got the height of the trees, and I was able to get it to the center of the green. So if we look at a high shot now, so apex on that, peak height was 49 feet. Incredible, right? So now if I play the ball slightly forward to center, I still feel like the low point's in front of the ball. Now it feels like I'm going to be going 3 times the height of the trees. So, flight plan, height, ball position matches that height, distance to ball feels good, grip club relationship feels good in relation to that ball position and that height. So now I'm going to let momentum track through that arc into that height. And now I'm going into the clouds. Boom. How cool is that? So I'm very clear. That was 102 feet in height, so double the height basically. Caught that one groove low, which is totally fine because I managed to, it doesn't have to be perfect to be good. So I managed to get that ball on the green quite nicely. We call it thin to win, right? So we have a mission. Our mission is our flight plan. We have an intermediate point to help us into that. We have a setup that matches that. Then we have a feel that's going to encompass and allow us to engage that kinetic chain. So if I go arms to hit the ball, then I'm asking my brain to seize my lower body. These are the two operating systems that you have in your machine. If I'm going to clean the grooves on my club without scratching the face, I'm going to tuck that club underneath my armpit and I'm going to be really careful and watch out that I don't scratch the face of my club. So notice I'm a statue. This would not be very good for the golf swing, very detrimental in fact. But if I'm a lumberjack, I've got an axe here, the instant I feel the weight of an instrument, my body now responds to that weight. So if I'm letting the weight of my arms and club track an arc, then my body has to respond and glide out of the way in both directions. That's what I'm feeling at address. So that my arm club unit can just continue to track through my arc blur into the direction that I want to go. For more information on this, you want A to Z, please go to theflightlabgolf.com. We curated over 50 videos, step by step by step, for your understanding, for your clarity, for achieving the feel that you need to feel in order to execute shots the way I showed you, okay? And our success rate is through the roof. The success is inevitable because your machine is designed to operate that way. Then you realize, oh, if I just focus on that and feel that, I'll get really good at it. We have so much science behind us to back us up. And this is all the science in motor skill learning, in neurology. We've really done our homework. So get with us, and we appreciate you joining us today for this video. All the best.